Yeah, well, we're just delighted to have the creme de la creme of Irish flat racing over 2 days here. And we're also thrilled to have Ireland's most decorated rugby player, Rob Kearney. Round of applause for Rob. Louth's finest. And we're also going to bring up to the stage Meath's finest, Ger Lyons and Johnny Murtagh. Welcome, lads. Well, lads, how are you getting on?
Where do you want Rob?
Rob will be at the end there. As you can see, we did say this to you 5 minutes ago. So.
In the light. Keep him in the light.
I believe you're both in good form. Johnny, you had a gamble at Navan yesterday, did you?
Had a horse that won, all right. Yeah, he was...
0, 0, 0, 0, 0 were the form figures, just for anybody that doesn't know.
1.
And 1.
Well, he won by a short head, so... Actually, listen.
Do you want to elaborate, Johnny?
I thought we were talking about Champions Weekend.
He got lucky, is what they say, is it?
He got lucky. Ben Cohen was on him yesterday. Just won by a short head. Big horse. Took a few runs to get organised, but thankfully he came out with the right decision of a very tight finish yesterday. Yeah, but it was.
We're trying to clean up racing, but it's just not there.
You had a winner as well yesterday.
Yeah, but that needed to win. Like, you know,
Okay.
That wasn't having his 5th run with 0, 0, 0, 0 in front of it. Some of us do the job right.
They improve. Mine improve with time. They improve as they run along.
Improve with money, Johnny.
Give me a bad reputation here. Mark Johnson.
Barney
Mark
Curley
Johnson.
Murtagh, huh?
No, Mark Johnson.
Oh, he's always trying.
Always trying.
This is what it's all about. I'm going over to the Breeders' Cup. I'm very lucky to be going in November to Kentucky, lads. And I kind of think this is a bit like our own Breeders' Cup. You got all this great racing at the Leopardstown. Like you had 4 winners last year, Ger, and then you have the...
Sorry, how many?
4 on the first day. 4 on the first day, and was it none on the second day?
Sorry?
4?
I can't hear you speaking.
4?
4.
I'll spell it
How
out.
many
And,
was that?
4.
and Johnny, the winner of the St. Ledger last year. This is just... You think about the derbies held in June, July, and now we're getting into September.
Classic.
I had 2 classics in the 1 month.
But no, as you said, it's.
I actually had a classic when you stopped riding for me.
Don't need us at all, John.
Yeah, the classic.
It's amazing how I improved when you retired.
I was walking around your house and I was seeing. Remember, I seen all those pictures you had up
This
on
is
the
a
wall.
true story.
I rode for Ger Lyons for 2 years, but I decided one morning to go down and ride work to see what was the magic formula. So I walked around his kitchen and he's got all these lovely winners along the
This is back now 30 years ago, by the way.
along the kitchen table and and
Everywhere. I had the wall covered.
yeah. What'd I say?
Well, I was making the tea and the toast. I was delighted to have the revered Murtagh in my kitchen. I couldn't believe how lucky I was. Now, remember at that time, winners were scarce to come by. And if I had a winner and I put it on the wall, it meant something to me, right? So as I made the tea and the toast and your man's finished his tour, he just turns around as only Johnny can do. So apologies, I know it's on the radio, but you're allowed 1 bleep. And he says, Jesus, you've trained some shite.
Well, I meant it as a compliment because how good he was to train those kind of horses to win. But I didn't get any sugar in my tea that morning, let me tell you. It was,
And I re-wallpapered the kitchen.
But things have changed a lot now, and as I said, it just showed last year. The greatest weekend of Irish racing. Ger Lyons wins four races on the first day of the season. He's built his yard. When I started training, I kind of modelled myself on Ger Lyons.
Right.
I kind of modelled: go buy your own horses, work hard, sell them on, get the money back in, invest again, go to the sales, work hard. And I said to Ger one day, Ger, I said, listen, bit of advice there. What? He says, I'll give you the best advice. So I'm standing there with my mouth open, thinking I'm going to get these words of wisdom. Don't be like me. You'll have no friends. You'll have no owners. And he says, people will hate you. But he's done very well out of it. And as I said, it's through hard work and through his own self-belief, because he might tell you he was a great jump jockey, but I've seen the videos. He was a jump jockey who turned his hand to train flat horses.
Yeah.
And he's now
Just wasn't as good as I thought I was.
He's now in the top 2 or 3. But going back to Champions Weekend, that is the weekend we all want to have winners.
Yeah.
You start out the year, you get over Derby weekend, and everything is towards Irish Champions Weekend. That's where you want to be. That's where you want all your best horses to run. And as you said, not alone have we all the best in Ireland, but now you have English, French. They're all over here to take us on. And we say we're the best, and we'll see again on Champions Weekend.
Yeah.
We'll show them we are the best.
How's it evolved then, Ger? Because you're managing a lot. You're like we're talking about Rob in a moment about coaches and Joe Schmidt and Michael Chake and that. Because you're managing owners, you're managing jockeys, you're managing entries, you're managing the staff. How has it evolved for you that you got in the position that you've got into?
I surrounded myself with very good people. It's they say, like the likes of Rob, do something 10,000 times and you get good at before you get good at it. And that's what we're doing. I'm doing the same thing for the last however long. I'm up at 4:45 every morning. We're feeding horses. My wife says it's the most boring life in the world. It's Groundhog Day, but that's what you're doing. And I've got good assistants. I've got good girls in the office, and I've just surrounded myself with good people so that I concentrate on what I'm doing, and they've all their job to do. You always see it, but there's no way you can do everything. But you just let them do their job. And it's took years to build up, but we're surrounded by people who know what they're doing.
What's the favourite part of training, guys? Is it like going to the track? Is it that call at when you know you've maybe got a good horse, a good prospect? Is it that 6 o'clock in the morning when there's nobody around and you're just working with the horses? What's the most enjoyable part of it?
Yeah, I think the most enjoyable is the mornings. Get up in the mornings, feeding them, or at night. I feed them at 9:30 every night, and you're walking around. It's so quiet, so peaceful. You're in your own yard. You see the horses, you feed them. It's unbelievable how they're in the same place every evening. The same horses do the same thing. Some come to you, some shy away. And if they don't, you go in thinking, oh, geez, I hope he's okay. I wonder if there's anything wrong with him. But that is the most enjoyable part of it. Outside, sitting down, picking a race for a horse in 2 weeks' time, preparing them for that race.
Like the one yesterday?
5 months.
Took him 5 years to get that horse ready.
But when it wins, it's great satisfaction. As a jockey, I was just getting up and down, jumping from Billy to Jack. Listen, Lyons' horse is out of form. We'll go on to Eddie Lynham's. Lynham's no good. Go back to Ger Lyons. So you're kind of doing that.
Is it just forgotten about? Like, when you ride a race, is it almost, what's the next race?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cold.
Just on to the next one. The next one's the most important one.
It's the same training.
Yeah.
And it's the worst thing, like, I think, Rob, you said you had one horse. Nothing worse than owning one horse. Because we've ran it in the first race, and
This is Ger's sales pitch.
he'll have one with Murtagh before the year's out.
He's got one for he's got a call for $250,000.
You need 10, Rob,
I've
not
got
one.
3 for that. Yeah, I'll give you 5 for that, Rob. Don't worry about that. But no, it's going to the races is the job. And there's a lot of rubbish that goes on with that takes the fun away from what we do. Like what I love the most is just seeing them on the gallops, having nobody talking to me. And every now and then we got one. And that's lovely. And then there's obviously somebody living in the hedges because they seem to know before I do that. When it goes to the races, then it's all of a sudden, geez, how do they find out about that? Mm-hmm. And you'll find in general that it's you who said it. You've said it out too loud to somebody, Christ, we've got one, and next thing it's gone. But no, finding that diamond in the rough is the reason you do it. Nowadays, the job's gone very bureaucratic. There's a lot of paperwork with it, and there's a lot of nonsense that goes with it that takes the fun away from it. But in general, the only reason we do it is for the horse.
Let's take a look at Mason, who won on the first day for you at Leopardstown last year. This was the first day of Longines Irish Champions Weekend for Ger Lyons. Maybe talk us through the race there, Ger.
What if I could see it?
I'm in the way.
Led off in Leopardstown's final race, the Irish EBF Sovereign Path Handicap
Still
over
can't see
7
it.
furlongs on the sharp end San Andreas.
Well, Mason is by Kingman, and he was a very, very hot individual. And you see Colin here on the outside. Basically, what we've done here is we've dropped a group. What we always thought this was our Guineas horse. He never made it that far. And we gelded him in a break. So we've dropped a proper group horse into a handicap. And that's him sitting fourth, I think.
Yep.
And a group horse in a handicap, you've heard the saying, he's a group horse in a handicap, and he eventually comes through them and wins like a group horse in a handicap.
It's funny what Ger says there about, people finding out even before. You're saying, how do they know you have a good one? Before Mason made his debut at Leopardstown, he won a maiden at Leopardstown on his debut. I got 3 phone calls to tell him he was the best horse, best juvenile that Ger Lyons had that season. So he obviously taught a lot of them early on, Ger.
Yeah.
I'd like to know who rang you.
I can't. The journalist never reveals his sources, Ger.
That's why I don't speak to the Racing Post.
You're speaking to me tonight.
Under duress.
And so he's gone away here, he's winning like a good horse. And like we've had a few winners before on the day, so I thought this, going into the day, that was my best chance for a winner. I just didn't trust the horse. He's gone and he's won. He's always going to win.
Yeah.
And that ended a fantastic day. I knew there, and I think he won next start was the stakes race in Leopardstown, but I knew he was en route to America.
Okay.
For 2 reasons. A, there's much more prize money. Like Champions Weekend is fantastic, but that's not every weekend we have that type of money. And already he's proven the money that he's running for in America. And he got beat an inch in his first run, which was the Kingmaker in I can't think where it is, but it was 650 grand, and then I think he's ran for the guts of 2 million in the last 6 months. So he's a nice horse, and America suits him because he trains on the track. He was a very fussy individual. At home he was great, but he'd go to the races and he'd just melt down. Whereas they train on the track in America, and I knew that would suit him, and it has suited him. So, but it was the end of a very good day that day.
One of your best days in racing, you think, well, you get the first one in, and then you get the second one in, you're going, maybe. Yeah,
the first one went in, we won the first race, which is a 2-year-old race. I love 2-year-olds, and we like to aim for that race. And didn't think we'd win, but I was hoping we'd be in the money to get black type, and she won, and I thought, Jesus, this is going to be a long day. I thought first winner's in, that's us done, now we have to watch the next 16 races of bang, bang, bang. And then it just kicked off from there, and yeah, it was as good a day's racing as we've had.
We see that ride on Mason there. How good is your future son-in-law?
Future son-in-law?
Colin Keane.
No pressure, Col. He's the best retained rider in the country. He got the best retainer a jockey could have. Everybody talks about when's Aidan going to take him. I don't think Aidan has a daughter to give him. No.
Class, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not as good as this man yet. Yeah, but he's got.
Could be.
Oh, he could be. Yeah, he's only a young man.
He's only young.
It's an amazing race, this Champion Stakes. I remember looking back at Fantastic Light and Galileo, Johnny, and I think you won it in 1996 on Timarita. But Dylan Thomas, Golden Horn, See the Stars. What a roll of honour. What a race.
Yeah, I remember that race because Frankie stayed with me the night before Fantastic Light, and he was called to Kildangan Stud that morning for a big meeting with Sheikh Mohammed. So he comes back to me and goes, they want me to go in front of Galileo. I said, what? I said, you allowed to stay here, Frankie? Fuck, they want me to go in front of him, Johnny. They want me to follow the pacemaker. I said, Frankie, go back and tell them before the race, you're a mile and a quarter horse. He's a mile and a half. He's going to... So Sheikh Mohammed told him, go in front, you'll kill him. And he beat him.
Yeah.
Frankie jumps off. I knew I'd make the run. Yeah, I knew there was a chink in him. So, but listen, the greatest race, it's the greatest race. It has the greatest finishes. It's the one everyone wants to win. It's the big one on that weekend, and it wasn't the weekend before, but that was the biggest race. It's like the Arc, and it builds up then. If you can win that, then you roll on to the Arc. August, September time is brilliant months.
Right.
Because the Group 1s just keep coming. Every weekend there's a Group 1, there's a Group 1, there's a Group 1.
It's a very fair track to ride, it seems.
Leopardstown?
Yeah. No? Maybe for jumps?
Tricky.
I'll tell you about a fair track, right? When we were riding together, working together, I was adamant, and I'm still adamant, that Leopardstown needs a false rail. Do you know what I mean by a false rail?
Maybe explain for the audience here.
Right, a false rail is when we turn into the straight, we're following the rail. So the rail then keeps us going up the centre, and then it drops away in here, so that say Johnny's all dressed up with nowhere to go, turning in. He knows there's a false rail coming, so he's going to take his time. Next thing, we straighten up. The lad in front has to keep straight, and there's a gap. Everybody has a fare. The best horse is going to win, okay? And if Dundalk needs a false rail, which Dundalk has, Leopardstown needs a false rail, right? I've been saying it for years. So
They've tried it a few times.
no, they didn't try it properly at all. This lad was my biggest unsupporter of having a false rail, right? No, Ger, we don't need a false rail. Why? Because I'm the best jockey riding and I lose my advantage. I said, Johnny, you won't. Yes, I will. This went around the way room. Pat Smullen said no. Aidan O'Brien said no. Dermot Wells said no. Johnny was very vocal. I'm the best rider riding. I'm going to lose my advantage. There's no false rail. And I said, Jesus, lads, this is nonsense. We're drawn out wide over 7 furlongs. You have no chance. If you're drawn out wide over 7 furlongs and there's a false rail, you can ride a race, right? So we roll on time. Johnny's after retiring as a jockey and he's now a trainer.
We want a false rail at No, but you said it is a fair trap. Big, long, sweeping bend, but you're turning from the 5 to the 3.
Right.
If you can just give your horse a breather there, you can clamp it down a bit. Nobody's going to move at the 5, unless you're at Moonman. Nobody's going to move at the 4. So they all. So if you can get to the 5 going well, but you have to go quick enough that they're not taking you on early. So you go quick enough, you get to the 5, you clamp it down. There's no way they're going to catch you the last 2 furlongs. If I'm in front and I'm after dictating the pace, no one's getting by me up the straight in Leopardstown. But if you take away, if there's a false rail there, the fellas on the inside are getting a freebie at you. So you make it tight for them. And Rob will say, you're marking someone, you're playing someone. You make it as difficult as possible for them to beat you. So it's a track where I would say 8 out of 10 times the best horse wins, where the Curragh is 9.5 out of 10.
Right.
So there is a tricky element, and you can be very unlucky in Leopardstown.
And Navan, it just depends on who's gambled on the horse.
Yeah.
But Leopardstown...
I think the very man was 20 to 1, though, so we'll find out.
But Leopardstown is... you have to... I've got a great saying for you there now. You have to knock on me off straight away. You're going to keep coming back.
I'll leave. Baid might come over. It would be amazing. This horse never been beaten. A bit like what Frankel. Where does this horse rank in terms of the great stars?
They're making comparisons with Frankel and with See the Stars. And I rode against Frankel. I rode in the Guineas against Frankel. I thought it was a false start. He was that far ahead of us. Like after going, like the Guineas is the big Group 1 3-year-old start of the year. He was 25 lengths clear after going a half a mile. And no one could get near him because he went so fast for so long. He just maintained that high gallop. So he was a brilliant horse, unbeaten, trained by Henry Cecil. King Henry Cecil, everybody loves him, so he got that romance as well. And what he did in York, in that race in York, the Juddmonte in York, that was unbelievable. See the Stars comes along the next year. I was riding for Aidan at the time. We tried everything to beat him.
Was See the Stars not first?
See the Stars, I think, was the next year, was he?
No, See the Stars before.
He was before.
Sorry, well, See the Stars comes along, the year before him, and he was brilliant. We couldn't beat him. He won 6 Group 1s in a row. We threw everything at him, and he won from a mile right up to a mile and a half. So Baid is coming along, and this year he's beaten ordinary horses. Like, he's beaten ordinary horses, he's beaten them well, and I'm a bit sceptical. I'm looking at him thinking, Delaney's donkey would beat him. You know what I mean? He's good, but he's not. But what he did last week, he started to, what he did last week, and that's what the good trainers do. They bring them along, and they're getting better each run.
Right.
The races are getting tougher, and they bring them along, and they get better. So what he did in York last week was pretty special, and he's getting close to them. But he has to come over to Ireland and win, or he has to go to the Arc and win, and then he has to go to Champions Day in England and win.
For what?
To be the great, to be like in the same breath as them. I feel
he's in the same breath.
He's
not in the same breath.
No,
He is absolutely in the same breath as him. I love this horse. I've seen him since the start, and I've been talking to William about him from the start.
William Haggis is trainer.
Yeah.
William.
And
his mate.
well, us top trainers sort of stick together, we talk to each other. You'll get there in time. If you keep working. Is he as good as his dad? No, not yet. I'd agree with Johnny. Is he as good as... See the Stars for me was the best that I've seen. And then Frankel was just wow. But for me, See the Stars was...
Is that because of the versatility?
Yes, he did everything. And John Ox, that scares me. Like what John Ox did with the best horse I've seen. It was as good a training performance as Henry Cecil did with Frankel. And I don't know how many years later he was gone, but it wasn't 5.
Yeah.
And if you ever get cocky in this game, just remember John Ox.
Yeah.
Because you're only as good as your last winner. You've heard me saying it 100 times, but that reminds me of this game. You've just trained the best horse that you've ever seen, that anybody's ever seen, and the game spits you out.
And he was ridden brilliantly by Canaan.
Yeah. Well, the arc ride was amazing.
But even before the arc, he used to win a neck or a half
Right.
a length, and he never gave him a hard race. So
What is the secret to that?
I think it's experience.
Okay.
I think it's experience. Like if I was a young lad, like if I rode See the Stars, he'd be rated highest of all time. I said to Johns because I would have got him. I would have grabbed the hold of him 2 down and get him. 1 by 5. Now he's rated 145, but he might never win again. So they're having hard races all the time in these Group 1s because they're very competitive, having hard races all the time. So if you can leave a little bit in the locker for the next one.
They're very alike, the two of them. I spoke to John Ox last week about them, and he said it's almost like you're looking at the same horse in their demeanour before the race. They're so relaxed and laid back, and that's probably why he was able to run so many times during his 3-year-old career. And it's the same with Baid this year. Like
I'd say Baid is much smaller than See the
much
Stars,
smaller,
is he?
yeah. Yeah, he is, yeah.
But a good temperament like him. And when he pulled up the other day after the race, what I loved about him when you seen him walking around, he didn't look like he had a hard race.
No, but he didn't.
He didn't look like he had a hard race. And
Johnny, you telling me then, Frank will See the Stars, you wouldn't have Baid in the top 3 with those?
I'd have him third.
Oh, you would now?
Yeah.
No, I said you said in the same breath. I said,
Okay.
yeah, he's not in the same breath as Frank.
Well, he is if he's third.
But you take him and Baid. Like he's not just there yet, but maybe he's getting there. But he has to keep doing it. But that's like the top horses have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's like the top jockeys. Oh, you were great last Saturday in Goran. And what about tomorrow? This is the one. My wife used to say to me, you know,
Jeez, where's this going?
Derby day. You're great Derby day. Oh, you're great Derby, you're great. But he said, Roscommon's someone's Derby. They've bred that horse. This is the day for him. Everyone's lined them up. This is the day. You need to be the same on that.
Yeah.
And that's what the great jockeys do. They're the same. And that's what Mick Canaan was. That's what he set the marker. He was the same on a Monday in Roscommon, Tuesday in Navan.
Well, you have a responsibility, don't you? Your responsibility to that small
You're getting
owner.
paid the same.
Yeah.
You're getting paid the same.
Yeah.
And why are you not the same?
Yeah.
That's why Frankie and Goslin had their fallout, because he was a Saturday jockey and he wasn't a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday jockey, and then he just told him to wake up. You need to be, and you do need to be.
Well, he can do it. Frankie can do it. Like I always found when I was riding plenty and riding loads, you'd be really on top of your game. You know, you'd be riding lots, you'd be on top of your game, you'd know the pace, you know everything. But Frankie was able to do it. He's able to rock up on a Saturday and those big days. But it's all good till you get beaten a couple.
Yeah, and he got beaten Ascot
and then it's, you know, they're looking to pick holes in you. But I still believe he's.
Well, even the great Frankie, he's only as good as his last winner. See?
Yeah.
The saying is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have a couple of other horses that might run in the Champion Stakes on Longines Irish Champions Weekend. This is Leopardstown. This is the first day, 10th of September. Videni, who won the Eclipse, this French horse, and maybe Luxembourg. That was meant to be the Derby horse. Aidan O'Brien got injured, but has come back.
I like Vidini. You know, now that I'm working for the Aga Khan. Again. He's in our team.
You see, I had the backbone to say I liked See the Stars better than Frankel. I work for Judmont.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you're,
Yeah.
Rory Man might be watching this.
Have the confidence to stand up for your own convictions.
No. I like Vidini, and I'll tell you, he will test Baid. I like the way he won in France, and then I was very, very taken the way he won in Sandown in the Eclipse. So mile and a quarter around Leopardstown suit him really well, and I hope they do, because we probably need them couple of really top stars from France, from England, to come over and log together there in the best race in the world.
We don't want it to be a penalty kick. Now, the Sunday at the Curragh, the St. Leger, this, Johnny, you might want to talk us through this. Sonny Boylis in your first Classic winner last year. Let's talk through the race here.
That off in the final Classic, the
I was down with you the week before, Johnny.
Yeah, well, he was after winning in York. He won the Ebor handicap, and it was 2 weeks beforehand. He had a hard race, and first couple of days he was feeling a bit sorry for himself. and he was tired because like it was a tough race, soft ground, York, mile and 6, and I just thought it's going to be tough to get him back. You know, it's 2 weeks turnaround, and I put him out in the field then for a couple of days. I didn't ride him out, put him out in the field. He loved the field. And I put the guy on him that rode him. He used to ride him out every day. I have a guy there called Pavo. He's so relaxed. Horses just go for him. And he rode him for a week, and he goes, little tired. Gave him Sunday off. Rode him on Monday. Oh, he says he's going well. Tuesday, gave him a little spin. And he said to me, I said, well, Pavo, better. I says, better than yesterday? Better than the boy. I said, oh, the same will do, Pavo, the same will do. He's better. And that gave me confidence then going into the race. The race went good. You know, the Ledger's tough race, mile and 6 at the Curragh. Rain came. He was in a nice position. I told Ben, ride him forward. Ben always thought he'd get the trip really well. Ger might think he's the best jockey in Ireland, but I have the second best, and he's not too far behind. I think he's a great young lad. He's really cool. He's very confident, and he gave him a peach of a ride. Listen, this was straightforward enough. He sat fourth. Horse travelled really well, and you know, I train right beside the Curragh to win on Champions Weekend. It's what we're doing it for, really. You know, a classic at the Curragh.
That's the most emotional I've seen you after a race. You were welling up a little bit.
I was, like, as I said, so it's big. And it's big for us. We had a great year. We had a couple of winners a winner in Ascot, winner in York, winner in Goodwood, but to come back and do it on home soil and to win a classic. And as Ger says, you know how hard we work. Like it's tough work. I start at 5 in the morning, finish at 9:30, 10:15. Got 20 people working for me, and it means a lot to them. And
he was hardy here, wasn't he? Like, he really had to stick his neck out.
He's a tough horse.
Yeah, I did think when we got here, you know, it's going to be a long way home, and he had the hard race in York, and would he be able to keep going? But in all fairness to the horse, he's one of those ones. He's cheap pieces on him because he's a little bit lazy. He's always saving a little bit. So I was hoping that when the push came to shove that he would, and in fairness to the horse, he did. This
is a question we always ask, Johnny. That moment there, passing the line in the Ledger, how did that compare with winning a Guineas or a Derby as a jockey for you? Is that a better feeling than passing the line as a jockey?
I think it is. I think it's more involved. You know, passing the line as a jockey, it's a bit of relief, and thank God everything went well, and it's great. But it's just that winning feeling. I don't know what it is. It's the same, really. You know, it's more satisfying being a trainer because you have to do all the work and you know how much goes in behind the scenes. But just for winning.
Would you say the same, Ger?
I wasn't a jockey, I was a trainer, yeah. I don't know what it's like to be winning big races as a jockey, so winning any race as a trainer is, yeah. But for me anyway, I find that the buzz is getting shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter.
Why is that?
Because you're just a hungry, greedy bugger that wants to win everything.
Okay.
And they say greed is good, but greed is terrible.
You're the Gordon Gekko of the panel here this evening.
I'm not on my own. I'm telling this lad to cut my legs off for a winner. You know.
It's very, very competitive in Ireland. So when you do win...
Is that tense?
Have a good buddy.
How do you mean tense? Do we fight?
You know, on the day, can there be a bit of...
Not at all.
No.
There's nothing we can do about it, but we know we're in competition.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he says I think I have the best jockey. He's a champion, how long? And he's still, you know, this is what he's like. Everything Johnny has is the best.
Yeah, we're going to kill him. We're going to kill him.
What's it like when you're at home and obviously one works really well and it's running the maiden in Leopardstown or the Curragh and you think you've a really good one and it just doesn't run well and you're going there so excited and then you're so deflated within a minute and a half. Is that one of the worst feelings?
In the world.
Yeah. Your dream is just gone.
Be with me in York last Saturday. You know, be with me anywhere. You know, York, you have to get home from England.
Yeah, you had licence in the E-bar.
Well, I didn't expect he shouldn't have ran, but both of them ran motherless. You know, it was shocking. And nobody, like, and then some clown will come up to you and tell you your horse just ran bad. I did it. Shit, I wasn't watching that. You know, like, it's like, Rob, you missed the conversion. I know you don't hate conversions. I'm not a rugby man, but I knew that. I knew that. See, I thought it was Robbie Keane that was here tonight.
He's not even on the stage yet.
But no, it's...
You can't bring it home, though. You can't. You can't. You have to just surely draw a line under your feeling. It's not. I know you're both Man United fans. Remember when Alex Ferguson once took to the bed after Man City beat them 5-1 back in the late 80s? Does it get that bad?
Sure, listen.
I'd say he wasn't sober when he got there.
It's soul destroying, you know. You think this is a good horse, and you built him up, and you spoke to the owners, think he's going well, and then all of a sudden, boom, he runs bad. But your first impressions usually are right. So there's always there was some reason on the day you didn't know, or maybe they're just good homeworkers, and that's a hard way to find out. You know, that kind of way they work well in the morning, they just can't produce it on the day. But your first impression is usually spot on, and if you think they're good, they will show it down the line. But listen, I'm got to the stage now where I say, right, come on, it's gone, that one.
Yeah.
Welcome to the next one. We need the next one.
But that's why you need runners.
You need to be, you need to be up for the next one, because you have to be positive with the next bunch of owners. And oh, this is our one, Rob. This is our one. We all horse run bad. I'll tell you, we'll have you back. Yeah.
Rob and leave here tonight with 10 horses.
This is the one. This is the one. But as Ger says, you need runners in every race, because and fancied runners in every race, because you could be waiting like. When I started off 20 horses, like I was having one runner a day. Like, fucking nightmare.
That's what I'm saying, what I was saying earlier on about having one horse in training. Like, it runs bad. Me and Johnny are on to the next one. The owner has to wait 6 weeks, 7 weeks, however long until that horse runs again, you know, and that's soul destroying. You know, and I'm speaking for me, I'm not speaking for Johnny or any other trainer, but I take it terribly personal. You know, like, they're my horses. You might pay for them, but they're my horses, and if it goes wrong, it's me that... You know, I just feel like...
Ger wouldn't be a great loser now. You wouldn't be the best loser in the world, I'd say, would you?
No.
Did the jockeys get the brunt of that?
No, not once. We never fell out over losing. The only time we ever fell out...
The press get the brunt of it.
When?
The only time we ever fell out was when you came in and accused me of not saddling my horse right.
It is a true story, yeah, it is a true story.
Down Royal, like a pair of spoiled kids. And I bought a horse, I think it was the Munster Oaks or something. I don't know what it was.
Did the saddle slip back? It must
have to slip back anyway. And he comes in and he was like Johnny. He was having problems with his weights at that time. He was having a problem with everything. So he took it out on me and he says, yeah. And it started wherever we got off the horse. And then I wouldn't be one to back down. So I says, he's not getting away with that. So we went at each other all the way back into the weigh room. He's riding for me in the next race. All the way back out to the weigh room. The stewards had to separate us.
I'm riding from in the next race.
Right, we stood...
So I kind of said, who am I riding for this race? And I gave out the saddle. So I come out late to the parade ring in Down Royal. He's standing like that.
So he stands
I'm standing like that. The owner's in the middle.
And to this day, the only thing I remember him saying is, I never had to tell John Ox how to tag a horse up. And that was it. And I thought...
But we had great days together. We had great days. Well, I went over to England. I went freelancing over in England, and I come back and I started riding for Ger. And he's always on to me. My horses are green, you know what I mean? They run a bit green first time out. They've never been on the grass. So I said I'd go up and ride out in his place. There's dogs running along the side of the gallop. Their stalls are parked there. The tractor is there. I said, Ger, your horse is not gallop. They see more in one lap around your gallop than most of the horses of the Curragh would see in 6 months. But I always enjoyed riding for him, because when you knew coming back in, didn't matter what race it was, he loved winning. He just loved winning, and I loved winning for him. I loved winning for him. Like, as I said, got to know him well, loved winning for him. I knew, you know, and then I said, you leave it to me. You leave it to me, Lyons. You know, you leave
that
it
was the thing, you legged him up, and that's what I have at Colin now, which is fantastic. I wouldn't be a great man to have no jockey.
Right.
When I legged this man up, job was done.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the job was done. And it's the same with the man I have. And the same with Gary Carroll, in fairness. But I'm just blessed, and I love having a stable jockey for that reason. Just up you go, bang.
There's only one regret I have riding for him. I'm going to tell you the story now. Start of the year, I said to my agent, Eddie, I said, Eddie, we'll ride for Ger Lyons and Eddie Lynham. And I rode 2 winners for them. I rode a winner for Ger in Dundalk on a Friday, and I rode a winner for Eddie Lynham on a Saturday. And no, ride them next time. Lovely horses, lads. I'll ride them next time. Wherever he goes, I'll ride them. So Eddie rings me 3 weeks later. He goes, Johnny, bit of a problem. He says, them 2 horses are in the one race. He said, I rang Ger and he says you're riding his, and you must have told Eddie you're riding his because he's of the opinion. Oh, I said, Jesus, Eddie, what are we going to do? I said, now think about it, Johnny. Think about what I said. He said, Ger will go mad. I said, nah, he won't. No. Listen to me. Yeah, he will go mad. I said, fuck it. We'll ride Ger's, keep him happy. I said, I don't think, there's not much between both horses, I said. So I ride Ger's.
Oh, Jesus, this soul power.
Yeah. I ride Ger's. Wayne Lorden gets on Eddie Lynham's. A horse called Slade Power. Not Soul Power, Slade Power, the better one.
No.
So Slade Power wins. Slade Power goes on, wins.
July Cup.
4 Group 1s.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get back on him?
I couldn't get back on him.
Yeah, well, listen, you wouldn't have learned as much off Eddie about being trainer as you did off me, so... Sorry about that, lad. That's what I said to you earlier. Be stand up for, have confidence in your conviction.
I was, but I just couldn't listen to you. It was early in the year. You'd have never left me alone.
You have a couple in the same ledger entered, Ger, Camorra and Thunderkiss this year.
Camorra sold to go to Australia.
Right.
And the deal was that he was running the ledger and on he goes. Lovely horse. He's really...
Okay.
Like Gary rode a winner on him in the Group 3 there on the Saturday Champions Weekend last year. He's softening, and I'm very good with his softening, but they always wanted soft ground. And then ground was lovely and quick last year, and he handled it, so it surprised us. So the older, we protected him as a young horse, so the older he's got, the bit more, or the less ground dependent he's become. But he's been a transformation. He won a Group 2, and David was very keen, David Spratt, that we'd have a kick at a classic. I'm not really keen, like when they're sold, I like to see them gone. Just go on, get on with your job. But the deal was he stays with me for the ledger. So we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
It's a good ledger, though. Very good ledger. You could have Kyprios, Stradivarius. They're talking today that he could be supplemented. So it could be a hell of a race.
Jeez, we wouldn't be afraid of Stradivarius, would we?
No?
No. Kyprios.
Kyprios, yeah.
I think Joseph's horse will run well. Raise You.
Yeah.
Won very well last time out. And if Kyprios is lazy, he just might do him for a turn of foot because he has that little bit of zip.
Yeah.
But Kyprios is a fair horse. And listen, Aidan will have it into a bit of a war of attrition. If he does, then Kyprios will be...
Yeah, it's a mile 6, obviously, and Goodwood... It's a different type of test to go to. Ascot Gold Cup is obviously 2.5 miles. So it'll be interesting to see if Kyprios does have the pace to win a ledger.
But he'll have 2 pacemakers.
Yeah.
And they'll go fast. And
have the pace to win a ledger?
Kyprios?
Is that what you're saying?
Will he have enough pace to win
Is that what you said?
That's
he has the stamina.
That's what I was implying.
He has the stamina to win a ledger. He doesn't need pace.
Well, he's won a Gold Cup over 2.5 miles.
Yeah,
he's not a fast horse.
He's not.
I think he'll win now. I'm just saying that's the doubt that'll be.
Well, I think Raise You might just do him for that little bit of turn of foot if it's slow. But I don't think it'll happen. I think it'll be a pretty. They'll make it into a staying race because you say he will stay well.
Oh, absolutely.
And he's lazy. So
I think he's good. I think he's better than you're giving him credit for.
Oh no, I think he's top class. Yeah, it's just a trip would be a little bit of a worry.
I'd say whoever beats him would win the ledger.
Yeah.
What's it like dealing with owners?
I don't have any. That's how you deal with them. Johnny's great. Johnny's great with the owners.
I don't know about that. Listen, it's but should they own the horses? You have to kind of make it. It's the journey, Rob.
The reason why I asked the question is because we have got a famous owner in the audience here. The very man won at Navan back in January. Just the tip of the iceberg and a glittering sporting career for this man. 95 caps for Ireland, 4 Six Nations titles, 2 Grand Slams, 4 Champions Cups, 2 Lions Tours. Welcome to the Horse Race in Ireland Longines Champions Weekend Roadshow, Rob Kearney.
Jeez, I'm walking into a bomb site here.
Have you enjoyed that?
Need to split these two boys up.
Statler and Waldorf, I tell you.
I'm holding in my tummy already.
Likewise.
Do you know that they say Ger Lyons is the Rob Kearney of the racing scene?
Bluffer.
I don't know about that.
Why are you laughing?
Is this Ger? I thought it was Garrett Lyons.
I thought it was Robbie Keane. I told that joke already. I'm not an egg ball, I'm a round ball sort of a man.
Well, you get an education now over the next while. Your dad was involved, apparently, Rob, in the game, was he?
Yeah, he was. He was a breeder. So I grew up on a farm in the Cooley Peninsula, County Loudoun, and he bred a load of horses. Now, I was never, hugely into them. But he used to take us away on race days. He had a couple of winners, and I remember his heart had broken a fair bit with them as well. And he'd a load of prize money, 3 race days in a row. And he said, right, this is it. I'm going to plough it all back in, build up a big empire here. And I think the whole thing went tits up. And sort of that was the end of it a little bit. But he still takes a real keen interest in them. But he doesn't partake in it now that much.
I believe when your horse won there earlier in the year, you weren't even there.
No, it wasn't. And I think it was probably a good thing, because any other time it did go, he hasn't won. So I'm starting to think now maybe the ones that I don't go to, we'll have a better chance of winning. But you know what? We haven't. I got it with another mate of mine, Dan Kiley, and there was 6 of us in the pub one evening. We'd have rake of pints, and we thought, geez, it'd be great to have a horse. Now we'll build a wee syndicate here together. 6 of us. Yeah, I'm in. So we put a figure on the horse. I think we bought it for 35 grand or something. And there was 6 of us, and we all said, right, everyone, all in. A few weeks later, check comes in, 4 of them bail out. No, it was a few drinks of me, I don't want to get involved in that. So when I ended up taking a leg of the horse, but it's good crack, isn't it? And that's part of it as well. Yeah. We got the winner in Navan, and it's always nice to get the win, but I'm still on the journey.
That's it, the journey. Because you build it up, like it's 2 weeks in advance. You'd say, run your horse there to Curragh there, 2 weeks' time. How do you work? Ring him up again. Worked great this morning, everything went well. We're all going to declare him now on Tuesday. Going to enter him on Tuesday. Everything's going well. Then you declare him. So, declare him. He's got drawn 6, and Ben Cohen's riding him. And so it's a full build up, and then the race day comes. And sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah, but this is the bit that I don't get, is that, so I've been in sport my whole life.
Yeah.
And there's some days you train like shite. Things don't go well for you. You have a bad day. You might sleep poorly the night before. You might be feeling a bit sick or whatever. But any time I speak to the trainer, absolutely flying. We're delighted with him. He is cruising. He is top of the world. We're going to put him into this race in a few weeks' time. We expect him to win, or we expect him to place. And I'm thinking he can't be that good every day. At least give me something to make me think that I might believe you.
I bet you go, though, after that phone call with a huge amount, you probably tell everybody, God, they're feeling really confident. Do you get lulled into it? Is he cynical?
No, I don't. I'd be cynical enough.
Right.
Now I'm lulled into it, on race day.
You're nervous now when your horse is running, when you go into it. Like, is it different, say, when you would have gone when you're as a younger person to a race meeting and just enjoyed it? Is it different as an owner?
Yeah, it is different, because there's more of a buzz with it, and there's always that split, few moments in your race when you think, Jesus, this could actually be our day, and that's part of the buzz, and that's what keeps these boys in a job. All the owners thinking, today is our day, and more often than not, it's not. Well, certainly it has been for me in the last year.
I remember
trainer, Johnny.
My dad was involved in the horse years and years ago. Actually, Sheena Collins trained it. And it ran the first day at Leopardstown. Like that, was talked up, going great. And it was absolutely embarrassing how poorly this horse ran. It was a horse called Liberty Street anyway. And the jockey came back in. I can't remember who rode him. I think it was Danny Evans, or somebody like that rode him. I can't remember who it was anyway. But anyway, it was a maiden hurdle, and he came back in. The jockey came back in, and he said, well, I know he didn't run that well, but he jumped well, he said. And my dad said, what do you mean he jumped well? The hurdles were flattened by the time he got to them. So that's the typical journey of an owner, I think.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind. The one time that I was speaking to them during the week and they said, oh, you know what, we'll just send him out for a good trip. You know, if he plays, it'll be a good result. It's the one time he did win.
Yeah.
You know, so I wouldn't mind if I got a small bit of a tip-off, like, you know, your man was out there
Yesterday.
last week.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Still denying it.
yeah.
You have to own them. You have to own them for that information. You have to pay for the privilege of that, son.
That's extra.
That's extra.
Geez, you want to see the amount of extras on these bills. Vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A.
You don't run out on Lansdowne Road with a bloody hamburger in you, do you? They have to give these horses, they're top athletes like you.
They got more physio than we ever got as players.
I'm trying to think out who this trainer is. You know, physio, additives. There's very few who do that. I wonder who this trainer is.
Now, I will say, to be fair, I won't have a bad word said about my trainer.
Is this Jessica Harrington?
Yeah, it is. So I'm going to show a lot of loyalty now to Jessica. She's an unbelievable woman. You know, she's 70. She's still going strong. She's the bit between her teeth.
She needs her holidays paid for, Rob. She goes on holidays with my wife, so I can say that, and I know how much they cost.
Well, why don't you pay for both of them now with all these wonderful winners that you've been having?
You've been down to the yard.
Supplementing Lynn's holiday as well.
Right. You've been down to Jesse's then, Rob, yeah? You've seen how it all works.
Yeah, I've been down a few times. It's a great setup, and I'm sure that the two boys have unbelievable setups too. It's brilliant to see how, you know, animals get the same, if not more, love and attention and, you know, training, coaching, everything that we did at the very highest of level. You know, it's brilliant to see that animals get that too.
I've been to both yards, and Johnny's a lovely yard. But
Which is better?
I was going to give the answer now. Of all the yards I've been actually in Ireland and England, the most immaculate yard I've ever been to is Ger Lyons'. You feel like you almost have to take your shoes off going into it. Everything is perfect. The hedges are cut perfect. The lawns are cut. Like, you do take great. I know you can't stand the racing post, but I'm going to give you a compliment anyway. You do take pride in the appearance of your yard, Ger. It's something that you do particularly well.
Appreciate
there you go.
that, Dave.
There you go. There's a compliment
Thank
for
you
you.
very much.
Will you answer the phone the next time I ring?
No.
There you go. No, it's a lovely yard. Yeah. Very nice yard.
No, I don't talk to the racing post for a specific reason. It's nothing to do with the personalities. So.
Good to know.
So
you're still friends?
Oh, we're friends, which doesn't mean we have to talk to each other.
You were also telling us, Robbie, you were down at Ballydoyle there recently. You saw the Willy Wonka chocolate factory that is Aidan O'Brien's empire.
Yeah, that's like something I've never seen before. Now, I haven't been, the two boys have not been invited yet, so I've nothing to compare it against. But he's a genius. He is at work.
You went to the van.
Went to the
in the van. You were in the
Jeep with them. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were 2 hours there, and geez, he was drilling me with 101 questions, just about my own experience in sport and how long would you sleep for and what side of the bed would you sleep on and your left shoulder, right shoulder, and just thinking, it was unbelievable.
That's why he's the best.
Yeah, but it was the culture within the yard that I found extraordinary. You know, knew everyone's name off by heart. Well, Mary, how's it going today? Well, Pat, how are you?
I take great offence to that, actually.
Well, Ger, how are you doing? I'm sure you know all the names too.
Yeah, I do. And
yeah,
I know, and so does Johnny. But the press go on, he knows everybody's names. If you're paying their wages, you should know their names.
Yeah, well, first thing I said was I haven't seen you in action.
No, but...
So don't be coming at me.
No.
I'm just talking about my experience.
He knows their names. I mean, name a coach that trained you, right? Tony, come here. Tony, my name's Rob. How many times did you have to tell the coach your name?
That actually happened to me once. It was Eddie O'Sullivan. I was only 19 years of age. I was in Irish camp maybe a few weeks, and we were in a circle at the end, and he looks at me and he goes... And Malcolm O'Kelly was there at the time, and he goes, Rob, He goes, yeah, Rob. I've never felt so small in my life.
Luxembourg, you met him.
Yeah. We went out into the yard where they keep all the stallions, is it? And the music was on. It was very peaceful, and you couldn't really talk too loudly in case you woke them up. Luxembourg came over, and I was like, because I grew up at horses. We had a load of horses on the farm, so I thought of a little bit of a touch with them. So I was stroking them. And, you're a lovely wee lad. Next thing, bang, takes a wee nibble at my arm.
Yeah.
So I won't be going petting him too much more.
Yeah.
But he's in good shape now coming
Right.
in. He picked up a bit of an injury there.
Yeah, he missed the derby, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his season obviously it's towards the second half of the season now. He wasn't that impressive, Johnny, in the Royal Whip, was he? He got the job done, and
He was carrying 40 kilos extra.
was he?
Yeah.
Like myself. And I just thought he had that
Aidan has this
thing.
lad as well. Hey, Aidan's playing watch this lad as well.
And it only took 2 hours. It took you 3 years.
I'd be interested to know what Ger and Johnny make of Luxembourg, because he is a horse that divides opinion. We have our own WhatsApp group in the Racing Post, and when he won, Richard Forrestal, who's our editor, said, I love the way his attitude to win the race. He'd have a right chance in the Arc, and a few others were saying he has no chance in the Arc, he'd be lapped. And it's quite interesting. He is a horse that divides opinion, Luxembourg, so I'd be interested to know what Ger and Johnny think.
Well, I would bow to Johnny's experience in the big races because there's nobody better at it, calling it. But I have learned through raw experience, you draw a line through Aidan's horses at your peril. I mean, he did one the other day. Who? I can't hear you. Arc. Yeah, not just Arc. That was a maiden, but that was a Tuesday. Brought her back from going nowhere. He does it all the time.
Yeah.
You can't draw a line through the man or his horses, and it's as much an all as you'd like to. But Luxembourg is, and the other side of it is like they talk up every horse, so I don't know which horse is going to be which. But you draw a line through one of his horses at your peril.
I don't think he'd beat Baid or Vadini if they came. I don't think they would. I don't like his head carriage. He just carries it up in the air.
They're in different races, though, aren't they?
No, they'll be in the same race if they run, yeah. Vadeni, Baid and Luxembourg are champion.
Just
the Royal Bahrain Irish Champion Stakes.
Yeah, I don't like his, they're carrying their head up like that, It's not natural,
Like that.
you know what I mean? I don't like that. He only won 40 kilos overweight, and the sheriff says they can improve, and Aidan's do improve loads. But I don't think if Baid comes over and Vidani, I don't think he'll get near them.
No.
You must see a lot of similarities, Rob, with the athleticism of the jockeys, the competitiveness of the sport, like the teamwork down at Jessica's, the culture, as you say, down at Aidan O'Brien's, the coaching. I'm sure there you see a lot of similarities between what you did as a rugby player and what you saw, and with racing as well as another sport.
Yeah, there is. There's loads. Like, you're very envious of the jockeys sometimes that they get so many opportunities on a day. You lose a game for your country. Sometimes it can be 6 months before you get another opportunity to go out there and do the, right the wrongs that happened times before. These boys sometimes 15, 20 minutes later, back up going again. So you're jealous of that if they've a bad race, that they can just go again and get a winner. There's always just the next. So we had to wait a little bit longer for that. But you know what? Like the culture in some of these yards is unbelievable. The toughness is different level. We took some bad injuries, but nothing in comparison to what some jockeys would take.
And in saying that, like when you walk out of Epsom and you're unlucky, it feels like that. I have to wait another year for this again, or the Arc. Or the Champion Stakes, like they're the ones that hurt the most, especially if you think, gee, maybe if I'd done this or I'd done that, I would have won. But I can feel what Rob's saying, like it's a year. You can get up and you can win the next race and it does ease the pain. But when you go back that night and you watch that video, that's a tough one. They're the ones that hurt.
What was
Do you read much press coverage when you were playing? Did you read the newspapers?
I didn't go out of my way to read them. And certainly early on in my career, I didn't, because it was just newspapers. Last few years now, it's Twitter, it's Instagram, it's everything. It's on your phone, it's plastered everywhere. So it's hard to avoid it sometimes. So you try not to, but if it's there sitting in front of you sometimes.
And you played well.
Yeah,
9 out of 10 in the ratings.
But if you believe that, you have to believe the bad stuff too. So you always try and take a little bit of a happy medium between them.
Because did you know you had 2 pundits beside you, not just one, but 2, ITV and a former At the Races pundit as well.
Well, I can't be given out about pundits.
You're a former
You're
pundit.
virgin now, aren't you, Rob?
Yeah, I'm a pundit too.
Yeah.
Do you give it to the players, or are you kind of still friendly with them? No. Do you give it to them, or are you still friendly with them?
I give it more to the ones I'm not friendly with.
I'm the same.
That's the God's honest
I'm
truth.
the same.
And the ones I am friendly with them ask the question, they might have a bad game. My head is going 90 around. Say this in a way that kind of gets the point across, but he's not going to be pissed off at me later now during the week. But it's tough, it is difficult. But
not easy.
It's not.
I done an Ascot this year. I was in the toilet in Ascot. Next to me, a jockey comes in. He goes, here we go. Port your turn, gamekeeper. I said, listen, who listens to me? I said, first of all, who listens to me? And I said, if you...
Jeez, I must use that line now.
Hey, use that one, right? Who listens to me? I said, if you ride them well, you get the plaudits. But if you ride them bad, well, I said, the videos doesn't lie. Oh, yeah, sharp memory. So...
If you're going to be a good pundit, I think Fran and Ruby have brought it to a different level. If you're going to be a good pundit as an ex, you've got to call it as it is. Otherwise, you lose respect.
You did it for a while.
I did, yeah. But I didn't do it... I was a trainer, and they didn't... when I did it, it was green. The whole idea of the racing channel was green. It's not as it is now. It's very professional. It's very sharp. Back then, you were just bullshitting. You were... Yeah. It was like I used to do a tipping line when I stopped being a jockey.
Was it 1550 one of these things?
Yeah. 8, no, whatever it was in England.
Yeah.
Lucrative. Very.
Yeah.
But what nonsense. I do not have a bet. I will not have a bet. Hence, I can look a jockey in the eye and move on to the next race. If you punt, you talk to your pocket.
Do you enjoy the punditry, Johnny?
I do enjoy it, yeah. I find it easy, but I'm a bit like Ger now. I've got my own horses there, and an owner's watching you on ITV talking, and they're saying, I wonder who's training me horses back in the Curragh. An owner rang me one day. I was on TV and there was a break. How is my horse? I said, how would I know? I says, I'm on ITV. Because I knew he was watching the telly. I didn't want to say it, so how would I know? I said, Evan seemed good when I left there 4 days ago, but I do enjoy. I like it. It's easy. It's an easy way. It's an easy way. You can see everything, and I love talking about. What's it like in the weigh room, or what's it like in the dressing room? The buzz and the atmosphere, and some lads will be tense, other lads want to talk, and then what's it like after the race? I like reading the races after the race. I find I can read the races well.
It's easier to pick winners after the race as well.
It is, yeah. But tipping.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
People want you to be a
tipster.
I'm not a tipster.
They want you to tip horses, and that's what it's about. And I didn't get that.
No, and I don't get that either. And nowadays I don't even let on. If Ed asked me, I said, I didn't even look at this race. So you're not trying to. Because some people may listen to you.
It's quite funny. Somebody pointed this out to me before. If you're watching Monday Night Soccer, Premier League match, pundits are very rarely. They don't ask Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher straight before kick-off, what do you think the score will be? They never do. They talk about the match and they talk about the different positions and the way the game might go, but they never actually give a score prediction before the game. Whereas in racing,
well, it's
all about
it's a cultural thing.
Tips. And I remember interviewing Ruby Walsh, and he said to me, I got into punditry now to educate people into why things happen. And like a football match, tactics and why a jockey moved there and why this horse made the pace that day. And there is a little bit of an evolution, I think, happening at the minute in punditry. I think the pundits at the moment in racing are excellent. You named a couple there. It is very slick. You look across the water, even at the likes of Nick Luck, Steve Mellish. Here you've got Ruby, Fran Berry, Kevin. It is reaching a level now.
Lydia Hislop. I mean, it's gone up a notch. And if you're bluffing, which we did, if you don't do your homework, they're going to find you out. But it still comes back to tip the winner. Like Ruby and Fran still have to call what's going to win. And that's where it's gone. And I'm in probably sitting on my own. Like, I'm so adamant that trainers, jockeys should not be writing blogs, should not be sponsored by bookmakers, should have nothing to do with it. It should be completely separate to what we're doing, because people out there literally hang on your every word. And there is people with problems, you know, and you have to be very, very careful about that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Do you feel like you're getting more bold as you enjoy the punditry more, Rob, that you know you can say what you feel, and do you feel the involvement of it?
Yeah, I think you get a little bit more comfortable in it.
Yeah.
You know, the first time I started doing it was, you know, you're pretty nervous. You're worrying about what words you're going to say and who you're going to offend, and am I going to say the right thing? But as you get a little bit more used to it, you know, you get more comfortable with it. You learn how to articulate things in a way that is not going to be overly offensive.
Yeah.
But you're also trying to be honest and constructive because you have a job to do. But no, I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. It still keeps me, you know, connected to the game.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing for me. You know, it's the only thing since I was 5 years of age I wanted to do was play rugby. And then one day you wake up and then you're told, right, that's it, you're done. You can't do it anymore. So, but you still feed from the buzz and you want to be involved in it.
The adjustment to retirement, has that been easy for you?
Yeah, I think it has, to be honest. You know, my wife says I'm a much happier person to be around now. I'm not a pain in the backside. You know, I was very lucky. I did it for 18 years, I think. Yeah, I do miss it. I look on at New Zealand when they won the series decider against the All Blacks down there, and that was the first time I thought, geez, I'd really love to be down there. You know, they're having unbelievable crack. They've just created history. But, you know, I had so many unbelievable great days as well that you just try and be appreciative of those as opposed to, you know, being bitter or wanting to be out at the other ones that you're missing out on now.
What was the best day?
I think Grand Slam 2018
in
Twickenham against England. 2009 was brilliant, but I was only 23. It was fresh. I was just new in the scene. I thought this always happens. But then to be able to do it again 9 years later, you know, it felt pretty good. And that season we won the Heineken Cup at Leinster and then went down to Australia and won a series down there against them. So that year, 2018, was very special.
Ger was talking about bad days and how you felt. Was there an equivalent worst day?
Lions second test against South Africa in 2009, and then we played the All Blacks in the Aviva.
So we were leading throughout the whole game.
19-0 up.
Yeah.
I don't know what year it was.
2013, yeah.
Was it 2013?
Yeah.
Good man.
Yeah.
Jesus, 9
Bad day
years.
for you too, yeah.
Yeah, because it was in the bar.
And you're 19-0 up and you go, okay, New Zealand are good, but there's no way we could blow this 19.0 lead. And we did.
Was it just silence in the dressing room after? It must have been.
Yeah, it was. I honestly, we didn't have a game the following week. I didn't leave my house for 5 days. I was genuinely just distraught. But then we got to beat them a few years later, so it was fine.
In Chicago.
In Chicago, yeah. But that was probably the toughest one. Yeah.
So the Grand Slam, you're going to Twickenham and you're winning. Like, it was so hard for us to win at Twickenham for so many years. It's quite an intimidating place when it starts to go against you, isn't it, when you're playing it? But when you get on top of them, and when you win on Patrick's Day as well, wasn't it?
Was that the real snowy day?
Yeah, it was snowy.
Freezing.
Yeah. And do you know what?
I was there.
Were you?
I was.
Did you have Oli, hadn't you?
I was there. It was brilliant.
Do you mean the art at all, Johnny?
Were you with ITV?
No.
He was there with ITV.
I know. All I do remember, I had no hat. It was the coldest day I've ever been in.
You know what? The morning of the game, we got a message back through to saying that because there was a bit of snow and they were worried about it snowing, they were going to paint all the lines blue instead of white. And on the two dead ball areas, which is, you know, that little box behind the goalposts, they made them, you know, half a metre longer. I don't understand why they did it, but they made the dead ball area longer. And then Jacob Stockdale's try just before half time was on that half little metre. That bigger.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But they never.
But that was unbelievable because it was Paddy's Day. But the game was over at half time.
Yeah, you never looked like losing. You were in total control.
And that is the best wins are when you go out for the second half and you can sort of take it, not easy, but you know.
That's what happened again in the All Blacks. Do you not remember that? Hey, that's what happened again in the All Blacks when you're 19-0 up. Did you not learn from that one?
Did you learn from yesterday?
We're talking about, you know, Aidan there. You don't have to answer this now, but who was the best coach you ever played under?
Aidan for 2 hours.
If it's going to get you in trouble now, you don't have to answer.
I'd one coach who remembered my name, like Aidan did. Joe Schmidt. Nah, he was a class act. He was. Now he was tough to work under because he was, you know, he was tough. He was meticulous.
Were you scared of him?
He was a perfectionist. Yeah, scared shitless. Everyone was. Everybody was. And Monday morning, you come in a room like this, and there'd be the big screen up, and he would pinpoint every single little thing and call you out. What are you doing here? And it's a tough place to be when you're with all your teammates and you're getting called out for it. But he just created this unbelievable culture of winners. Now it finished badly for us.
Is there a shelf life to that? Shelf life to that culture of, well, I'm a bit apprehensive. I'm going into like almost like a Monday morning school, the headmaster kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know. It's brilliant when you're winning all the time because you say, right, I'm going to deal with all of the stuff that comes with it. I don't care because we're winning on the weekend. You know, if you have a season where things start to go a little bit badly, you know, then sometimes the atmosphere can get a little bit like, well, you know, your man's finished now. We're not winning. So.
Is that what happened to Japan?
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, in Japan, 2018, we'd beaten the All Blacks. We won a Grand Slam. We're the best team in the world. And I think we probably just stagnated a little bit. We thought we have the magic potion now to success. We just need to replicate this for the next 12 months and everything will be hunky-dory. When all the other ones were improving, they looked at us in the top and said, right, we need to improve, we need to get better, we need to rip our game plan apart. And we just stayed still a little bit, and you know, the boys will tell you, as soon as you stay still, you'll get caught out and passed.
And if you played well, if you had a really, really good game, would he go fair play, Rob?
I would, yeah.
Or Jack?
Yeah.
Or Mickey, or whatever he was calling you. Would he say you had a great game? Would he build you up when you played well?
Yeah, he would. But you know, after the game, he'd always say that. But he'd always give you a little something. It was like 2 minutes 47 into the game, you did this, and you're like, oh, okay. So he'd always give you a compliment, but then a little
backhand one, yeah. No,
what about
them?
Yeah. What about the way we're playing now under Andy Farrell? Like, it's very exciting. Like winning down in New Zealand for the first ever time. We got a World Cup next year. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive on it. You know, they're doing very well. They're playing a different type of game plan to the one we did in 2018, 2019. You know, they're attacking an awful lot more than we probably did back then. They're moving the ball from edge of the field really well. The ruck ball is very good. So, you know, they'll have huge confidence now that they can beat any team in the world. You know, I just hope for their sake and for our sake that we're able to pass this quarter-final stage, because it's getting tough at this stage.
Yeah, and Johnny being fit is huge as well.
Yeah, it's very important. It is. Yeah. Because it's a different team when he's in it. You know, so we need to make sure he's kept fit.
What's he like?
Ah, he's a legend.
And what's he like? You know what I mean? You're saying he's a legend, you know. You're a legend, but what's he like in the dressing room? Is he the man? Is he?
Yeah, he is the man. He is, and he dictates everything.
Does he give you the look or the snarl, or
he gives you everything. He's an animal.
I love that. Love that, yeah.
He is.
You remember I used to give you the look, Ger? No,
but you know, if you give him a look back, you'd swear you just robbed his house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he looks like he's...
Can you just imagine the shelf life Ben Cohen is going to have?
No, I do think it is very important, though, for young people. You keep telling them how good they are, because straight away, the first thing they say, I'm not good enough. I say, no, you're the best.
But that's a lie.
Well, I don't care if it's a lie.
Yeah, but he doesn't know.
I don't care if it's a lie. Hey, if I keep telling him enough, maybe he will believe it himself. But, like you, Monday morning, come in, then look at that video, and we look at that video again. Get up there. Why are you doing sitting fucking 3 wide around Tipperary again? You know, Yeah. Should have kicked on, should I? Well, I said, you know. But that's. I think the good lads will take it. The good lads will take it. You know, the good lads will take it and make them better, and that's what you do. And that's. But I think it's very important you keep telling them, young people nowadays, how good they are, because their first impression is, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm not good looking enough, or I'm not this or that, because they're on that gadget all the time.
Yeah. That was really important to Leinster as well, bringing that kind of. Was it like playing for a club team, playing for Leinster? Was it different to Ireland when you were there winning those Champions Cups, or was it?
Yeah, it was different, but like Ireland's your country, that's the pinnacle of it. With Leinster, you're probably playing with all your closer mates because you've all come up through the ranks together. You spend every day together, but they're both very special for different reasons, But it is, I completely agree with that point, about young kids coming through, and I was the same. Growing up, you have a huge amount of self-confidence issues, because there's always going to be times that you doubt yourself. No one's bulletproof to this stuff, and sometimes the best thing a coach or a trainer or somebody can do is tell you, you're good enough. You'll have to work hard for it, and we'll pinpoint things where you have areas of improvement, But you've always got to give young people coming through confidence that they can achieve it.
It's light and shade, isn't it? It's encouragement and a bit of constructive feedback.
Yeah, but that's the art of good coaching, isn't it?
Yeah. And social media hasn't helped. It hasn't helped, as Johnny said there. It hasn't helped people looking at their phones, looking at like nobody's immune to criticism, even if you're one of the top players in Ireland.
No, there's not, and there's more of it now. It faces you everywhere.
Yeah. There's an answer to that, though. I did it at the start of COVID. Social media free. Just dropped everything and just said, enough of this. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
You used to be good in the old social media.
You used to be on Twitter and everything.
Yeah, I was getting up every morning reading your posts.
I did it before anybody did it in the game, and when it was new and it was whatever. But then it took over, and you go down rabbit holes, and you do this and you do that, and if
but you're answering them back. You can't be answering them back.
No, I don't never answer them back.
You did.
No, only.
You were rowing with them on everything.
Only the. But I
sending them messages, direct messages. You were. Can't do.
What's your address?
I wasn't.
You sound a bit guilty.
Johnny wouldn't know how to spell social media. Never mind know what it was. No.
There's a thing now. It comes up. You don't even have to spell it right. It just spells it right for you. You get 3 words. You just have to think it.
Oh Lord.
We'll get some questions from the floor in a couple of minutes. So think of a good question for Rob or for Ger or for Johnny.
What does Rob shave with? I need to know that. I had my wife throwing on a stubble coming up here. I says, I'm going up with Rob Kearney then. What do I need to do? And she says, don't go.
I'll send you a tweet later.
You still playing a bit of GA, Rob?
No, I'm not. I went back last year for 4 months, back home to Louth. But it was tough. I was a good Gaelic footballer coming up through the ranks and played minor for 3 years. So I thought, I'll go back. It can't be that much different.
Tough for you.
Oh.
Yeah, we were talking about this upstairs in the bar, and he was telling me how tough it was for him.
In the bar?
In the bar, sorry, yeah.
Dave's still playing.
Backstage.
Dave's still playing the guy.
Tell them you're sorry.
Come on.
The only man in the country too.
Yeah, I went. I'm a goalkeeper, obviously. I'm not a corner forward. And joined. Yeah, I'm the only person I'd say I have a record here, because I played senior football for my old club Dundee 20 years ago when I was actually much leaner, and we got relegated that year back to intermediate. So 20 years ago we got relegated, moved to Dunshaughlin where I'm living now, building a house, got a transfer to Dunshaughlin last year, got on the team, played senior football. What happened? We got relegated. So I played senior football 2 years, and I've got relegated both times in the space of 20 years.
And he's the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I'm the goalkeeper.
Something's
you know the way you
adding up.
say, it's not me, it's you? I think it is me.
Yeah.
But I was going to go back this year, and I went back a little bit, and I'd be actually, looks can be deceiving. I'd be all right, like I'm agile enough, and played a little bit. I have a few Mead caps on my CV, and we were training in the Phoenix Park one Sunday morning at about, Paul Curragh actually is training us now, and Richie Keeley and the Chocolate.
Very dub.
And the training was at 7:30 on a Sunday morning. And I was in bed and I was hemming and hawing about whether I'd go or not. And Aoife was giving out to me. She was pregnant at the time. What are you going for? And I said, no, I'm going to go. So she was mad at me for going. I didn't want to go because I knew I was going to embarrass myself. But I said, no, I want to go. I want to win a medal this year. Went to the Phoenix Park. I said, it's flat enough anyway. And little did I know there's actually a hill in the Phoenix Park called Magazine Hill. We got there anyway, and Paul Curran says to us, right, lads, we're doing 24 of these hill sprints. And I did 4. And I just contemplated life, and I said, I'm too old, I'm too fat for this. So that was my last serious training session with Dunshaughlin, yeah. I've moved on in life, so that was the story
Fair
me and
play
Rob
to
were
Dave.
talking about in the non-bar upstairs.
Fair play to you, fair play to you. Any questions from the floor? Anybody want to raise their hand? This young gentleman here? We'll take 3 or 4 questions. We'll just get the microphone over here for you.
Question for Johnny and Ger. So one horse you're looking forward the most to aim at Irish Champions Weekend. One horse you're looking forward to the most.
It's always punters he's always punters.
I don't actually bet.
I know you don't. You've been down my yard a few
Man,
times.
Yeah.
He's a very good man on the Twitter, this lad. He does a lot of promotion for Irish racing. Best horse I have, well, I have 2 horses that I'm of high hopes for Champions Weekend. Ladies' Church in the sprint and Shartash in the National Stakes. So they're my 2.
So Ladies' Church runs on the Sunday in the Dubai Flying 5 Stakes at 2:25, and then Shartash in 3:35 on the Sunday at the Curragh, the Vincent O'Brien National Stakes, the Group 1. Anybody else got a question?
And Ger, please.
Yeah, I'm
Still thinking.
I'm trying to help you here, Tiernan.
The 4 winners last year, you must have one this year.
I think I've used up all my luck. You know the first race?
Yeah, the
Whatever I run in that.
Maui Wowie.
No, she won't run in that.
Well
7
done.
furlongs.
This is Leopardstown now.
Probably amazing show.
Jeez, I need my notebook.
Very good, thank you.
Or Serinsky, something like that. That would be the race. I'd be more confident that I'd have a winner.
Dead cert.
Oh, certainly, boy.
So this is on the, this is the Leopardstown.
That's
not out yet.
It's not out yet. That's the
Okay.
English beat.
Okay.
It's the
Okay.
first race, the listed stakes.
Okay, very good. We got to wrap it up, folks, and we
Thank
really.
God.
She didn't come.
We just want a couple more questions, okay?
Guys, I've really enjoyed the discussion so far, and just before I ask my question, John, I just want to make a comment that obviously the guys are legends in their sphere and their sports and what they do, but I just wanted to pass a comment to say that in respect to OTB and what you're delivering in terms of sport broadcast is also legendary, and what you're doing is excellent. So thanks for that product, it's really appreciated. I love listening to you, I love what you produce and what you deliver to us. 2 questions really I had for the guys. One is just in terms of, like, we're talking about the racing and you're on about winning and losing and leaving the track, but you're basically running a business. And I'm just wondering how you plot out at the start of the year, what kind of discussions you have with your team and your people around what targets you have to set, you have to achieve for the year, and how you plan all that and what discussions take place. And also, just in the world we're living in at the moment, the topic of green and sustainability is very taboo. It's very important. Is that something you're conscious of? And are you thinking about, you know, the energy, how your businesses use energy, and evolving and changing that down the road? Or is that something you're conscious of?
Conscious of how much energy I'm using myself most of the time, but no, you have to be conscious of all that. Yeah, I suppose, like, we have 2 bins now instead of everything just thrown into one. You have the green bin, you have this bin, you have that
You're
bin.
talking rubbish now, Johnny.
Yeah, but when the strategy at the start.
The 2 bins come in 10 years ago. I've had a green bin for 10 years. And I'll let you in on a secret.
Not in my yard.
There's a brown one as well.
Well, I have that one as well.
Well done, lad. Well done. He needed that one. Well done.
But at the start of the year, I say, right, lads, this is where we're going to go. We want to be in the top 5 in Ireland. That's the aim. We want to have 10 winners a month. And that's where we start off. And you know what I mean? And then it just keeps rolling. But The ultimate goal is to be in the top 5 in Ireland. Then you have small little goals along the way. I think racing is doing plenty, as I said, for the energy to have 2 bins now, 3 bins now instead of anything else. But it is a discussion that they are, looking into, and you can see that the racetracks are doing that as well. But as for my team, I have a great team. I have a great team of people around me, young people.
Is that something that's a huge cost, because the energy is increasing?
Yeah, it is. You better ask my wife about the energies. I don't know any of the bills that come in because she's in the office there, but the electricity's gone up, the water's gone up, you know what I mean? So everything has gone up. We used to have straw and hay, which were the main things, and they were the cheapest too. They're obviously now, we have a shavings and we have Canadian hay, and they're nearly the most expensive we have now. So loads of things have changed and loads of things have got dearer over the last couple of years, but that's just something we have to do and keep on top of it. And as I said, the ladies in the office, I don't like that call when they say, come up, Johnny, we have to discuss. I'm after buying maybe 20 new bridles or maybe, new rugs or this or that or the other that weren't in the budget for that year, but the horses come first, and, they get the horses always get what they need, and to try and get all those 1%, you know what I mean? We don't want improve them by 20% every day. If we can just keep all the 1%, that's what makes the difference winning and losing in Ireland.
Okay, thank you. And this lady here, just to finish.
Thank you. I just wanted to pick up on a point that Rob had said about going in on a Monday morning and, the whole thing was sort of deconstructed as to what went wrong and what didn't go wrong. But after a race, obviously, the owners are sort of told, oh God, we thought great of this horse and whatever went wrong, and if it didn't win or whatever. But when you go back to the yard, is there the rerun of that race, and is it diagnosed the whole way through? And, maybe we should have done A, B and C. Now, I'm not saying that you tell the owners that, but does that actually happen?
Yeah, well, sure, listen, after the race, the jockey comes in and he says what happens, and he says, you know what? I often come in myself and say, you know what? I maybe went a bit too quick in front, and I just died the last bit, so maybe the next time we'll hold it up. So, in my yard, everything is open, it's out front, the jockey gets his say, then I'll speak to the owner afterwards, and I'll say, listen, he went a bit quick in front of the jockey, so next time we'll hold it up. And then, as you say, you go home, you watch the race, and if there's something else you pick up on, then after that, you ring him up and say, you know what? The last couple of runs on fast ground, the jockey said the ground was a little bit too slow, so we'll keep him on fast ground. So there's loads of things like that. It's you are trying to find, again, those little 1% that'll make the difference from winning and losing. And I suppose it's very important that the owner, it's hugely important that the owner's involved in all those decisions. But if they really trust you, they'll leave it to you. And I think that's when you're at your best. If they just leave it to you, they know, the owners I have know I'm doing what's best for the horse to get the final result, which is going to be best for everybody.
Folks, thanks so much. Look, is there anything for the couple of days that you're really looking forward to running, Ger?
This weekend?
No, in the
Champions weekend. I'm looking forward to the occasion. I think it's the best thing that's happened to Irish racing in my time. Kicks off in Leopardstown. I think it's fantastic days racing. I just can't wait for it. I think it's where I want to be. It's where I want my runners to be, and it sells Irish racing the best of, and it hasn't let us down yet.
Johnny, what are you looking forward to?
As I said, Ladies' Church. She won the Group 2 last time out. It's a big step to Group 1. Looking forward to her and Shartash. He was third in the Phoenix Stakes, the Aidan O'Brien's Hot Pot, who I heard is not run.
Little Big Bear,
Little Big Bear might not run in the National Stakes, so I think he'll run a big one in the National Stakes. I think stepping up to 7 furlongs will suit him well, and if we get a bit of rain, that will help him also.
David, anything that you're looking forward to seeing?
The National Stakes could be a cracker this year. Godolphin have some really good 2-year-olds. Thought Noble Style was very good at York last week, and I think Silver Knot, who won at Sandown last Saturday, could be very good. If either of those came over for the National Stakes, I thought they would take a bit of beating with Little Big Bear out if they can beat Johnny's Shartash, who's got loads of pace. He's better than he showed the last day, isn't he?
Listen, I was surprised he just got a bit outpaced. I thought he was pacey, but he's bred to stay and he's settling more relaxed now. So I think he hit the line well. I was happy the way he hit the line.
Yeah, the winner could be a very good horse, but like the lad said, like they're 2 great days. Like I'm in a privileged position to be writing about something that I am passionate about, and to go to those 2 days and you're writing about like these lads and the horse and stuff. Like sometimes you're knackered after coming in from work and you're saying, oh God. But those days you're like, oh my God, I'm blessed to be doing what I'm doing. So just very lucky, John.
And a big year ahead, Rob, for the rugby. Fingers crossed for the World Cup. We might do something.
Yeah, fingers crossed. There's a lot to play out before then. You've got a big
Nations.
Autumn International, 6 Nations, and then another 6 months. So hopefully they can just keep building, keep trying to peak towards that big World Cup, and hopefully get past that quarter-final stage.
Well, we'd like to thank Horse Racing Ireland for supporting this event at the Davenport Hotel in Dublin tonight. Thank you all for coming. Be sure to follow Horse Racing Ireland on their social channels. Remember, Longines Irish Champions Weekend takes place Saturday the 10th of September and Sunday the 11th of September. So at Leopardstown on the Saturday and the Curragh on the Sunday. From David Jennings of the Racing Post, myself, John Duggan, we appreciate your time. Let's give a big round of applause for our special guests. It's been such great fun tonight. Ger Lyons, Johnny Murtagh and Rob Kearney. Enjoy the rest of your night, folks. Thanks so much for coming. We'll see you at Leopardstown and the Curragh.